Vanessa Gonzalez. I'm the Executive Director of the Mesoamerican Youth Fund. And we'll tell you a bit about the non-insurance program. So the Mesoamerican Youth Fund is funded by Mexico is what the $990. It is the largest transparent in the earth. And it also four countries with over 1,000 kilometers of coastline. It has a biodiversity hotspot. It is very economically speaking. It is expected to deliver economic benefits of $34.6 billion between 2017 and 2030 if the ecological value is maintained. So it's very important to maintain it. Yes. And the Mesoamerican Reef Fund, the Mesoamerican Reef Fund, or NAR Fund, is a regional private environmental fund that drives regional funding and partnerships for the conservation, restoration, and sustainable use of the region. One of our programs is the Reef Rescue Initiative that has the objective of increasing the resilience of the Mesoamerican Reef and the environmental and cultural services it provides. There instruments and policies for risk management, capacity building, and financial sustainability. And this financial sustainability is the focus. So the Reef Rescue Initiative, we work on different aspects that create what we're calling the response and resilience landscape. So it incorporates policy instruments, risk instruments too, that enable the possibility of getting funding, developing capacities and governance for emergency response for reefs. The financial mechanisms that can be spent in the emergency after a hurricane, for example, in reefs, sets out a small emergency fund that is already established, and the Mar Insurance Program. Now, these provide prompt funds for early action after the event such as a hurricane, and that reef recovery provides the ecosystem, the recovery of the ecosystem services that then provide community resilience. So this is what we see as the response and resilience landscape, and although it involves meaningful such as capacity building risk, we're talking about the insurance. So what is parametric insurance? It is a type of insurance that pays out a pre-agreed amount to a policyholder based on a predefined event characteristic. So in our case, we're talking about like strong wind speed. And what this does is it's a quick solution for providing quick funding after an event that then you can then implement or use for that restoration. So these are the steps to creating a tailored parametric reef index, which is the way we will look now for the Mesoamerican reef. And there are two steps to it. First, what is the relationship between the level of damage from a hurricane to the reef cover, the reef surface cover, live cover? And the other aspect is what is the cost of providing emergency response based on that level of damage. And combining these two aspects, then we create a parametric index that captures both things, right? The level of cyclone damage to the reef and the response costs. And the current system or model that we're using is based on these concentric circles. So these are two of the reef sites that currently have insurance cover. And what has happened is the concentric circles start in zone 4, zone 1, that covers all the reefs that we want to insure. And there are 25 kilometers between each concentric circle. And this has been calculated so then we have the right amount of food to cover that reef response and restoration after an event. So, for example, the trial hurricane categories, right? If and this is zone 1, 2, 3, 4 is the core area that covers all of the reef. If we have a hurricane 5 category, yes, and it goes right over the roof, then we have 100% of the payout of that insurance. If, for example, we have a hurricane 3 category and it goes over zone 2 here, then there's only a 10% payout because the probability of damage to the reef with a hurricane 3 that far away is that it won't damage that much. And with 10%, we'll be able to cover the restoration that is needed. So that is the way this insurance was designed. And these are the 4 pilot sites that are currently health insurance covered from July 2021 to May 2022. There are 4 pilot sites, 2 in Mexico, Scalac and Hulchan, and 2 Scalac and Monte in Mexico, and Hulchan and Tunef Atra in northern Belize. The insurance policy was aggregated and Marfan purchased it, so we are able to do the payout and take it out to the field where implemented by brigades that have been trained previously to respond to the emergency. The premium financing was provided by the Ministry of Resilience Fund, which is carefully funded, and the broker specialist is our partner, Willis Sowers Watson. The provider of the insurance was AXA Pilot. So we can see that insurance, and this is let's say a detailed iteration of initial insurance that was done just for King Finite Law by the Nature Conservancy 2 years ago. This model has a bit more detail and now incorporates the reef core cover and the specific costs of that in that nested concentric circle model. We can see that all the elements that involve capacity building for the reef responders and the brigades that are trained, and they have been trained since last year and are currently in training. We have, let's say, the whole framework to actually respond. So there's a financing instrument that can address that post-event funding gap quickly, and that's the key issue, right? You need to provide the funding quickly. After an event, such as a hurricane, you have to wait till the waters come down and then maybe a week or 2 weeks, but it's critically important to go into the reef quickly to take out debris, right, that can come out from land, many things, trees, tires, in addition to just broken parts of the reef that continue to strip the reef and damage it. So once people can go out and boat, then they can begin cleaning out that debris and cementing back or stabilizing pieces of coral. Not doing this can mean that a reef will take 10 times more to recover if it recovers at all. The reefs that don't recover at all depending on the intensity. So actually going back and doing this work sets it to that process of recovering really fast. So what it does, it gives us predictability of fast, and you have people ready on the ground to get into the water. In addition, the brigades incorporate people from local communities to provide a source of income by doing this work. So like boat captains, dive operators, just people from the community, people providing food, etc., that all can get funding from this financial resource because after a hurricane they will not be able to do tourism, etc., and this is a source of funding for them. And of course, last of all, and this is like the final goal, is to restore those valuable ecosystem services that are provided by race. This has been possible thanks to the trust and the role of governments to participate, recognizing the importance of the value of reefs and working together to just to design the system and participate and provide that people and the governments on the ground for people to be in the water and do the recovery. As I mentioned previously, we are partnering with Willis Sowers Watson for this process. They designed, we insurance is concentric circle approach and are working towards full parametric. We work closely with the Nature Conservancy. We partner a lot with capacity building on the ground, for example, and the Healthy Waste Initiative, which is a regional initiative that does reef monitoring and provides report cards on the health of the reef biannually. And of course, we acknowledge our donors, Jim Corporation, to the KFW, provided the National Endowment Fund to create our reef rescue initiative. The International Coral Reef Initiative, EQ, through the UNDP Small Grants Program, provided initial funding to do the initial studies, for example, to determine what's the relation of storm strength to damage of coral reef surface. Ocean Risk and Resilience Action Alliance, with the financial contribution of Global Affairs Canada, the Ministry Resilience Solutions Fund, which has provided funding for premium, among other things, and the IADB that recently developed economic valuations that are for the whole system, for the 4 countries of the law, which are very important to continue to work with governments. So, thank you very much. Next. So that I didn't get anybody to have any questions, yes?
For the presentation, I have 2 questions actually. First one, you talked about the so we're talking about the of bilateral insurance with TNC and TW a few years ago. So I used the bilateral insurance because I was the bilateral insurance and deforestation. At that time, I think they did make so the question, the experts are also conversation, but that's threats for coral reefs are acidification and climate change. So even if there are limited level of frequent bilateral insurance, we know that there are some other parameters to take into account, and for still examples. So it's really the best mechanism available, especially about innovation for confidence, and this example of TLC, and to use the power of insurance to protect from use, so that lenders can decrease the up to 50%, and there are a lot of costs and royalties to use. It's easier to restore so would it be possible, in my opinion, to use bilateral insurance to restore mangroves that are so
for your first question, the first PNC is now, I think, on the 3rd year. Last year, there was a hurricane towards the end of the year. The bilateral insurance paid out, and unfortunately, those funds have not yet been used. What happened, though, was because there is the other financial mechanism is the emergency fund. Last year in October, what we did is we the emergency fund, we gave emergency funding to one particular area that requested it, so they could go out and do that restoration. Recently, a hurricane just passed over Mexico, and I think they did use some of the money from last year to do a bit of that restoration. So that's a good thing because I mean, you need the money and you have to use it, right? The right thing is to get it out in the one negative. To your second question, remember that we saw also like the first spell there, right? they stop that energy and then mangroves. So I think this, if it can be replicated, and actually that's something we are now hoping that we can replicate this concentric parametric model in the Caribbean areas. Hopefully if it gets spread out, it's just an additional mechanism that can help in resolve it. And it does help. So last year, the emergency fund, to support the restoration process, emergency restoration process in Puerto Morelos in Quintana Roo. They were able to stabilize about 8,000 colonies, cement back about 5,000 colonies, and you're talking big appropriate structures. So it does help to restore that structure. But yes, parametric insurance is being studied for systems like mangroves because it is also important to restore those. So the idea is to use that as a mechanism because if you have that proxy, right, that you have a completely independent way to measure the proxy, like hurricane speed or wind speed, sorry, which will apply to both, that will then trigger immediate funds, then it is useful. So it will be applicable, and I understand. I think it is TNC is also thinking about structuring that parametric insurance also for mangrove. So yes, and it can be done in other things. We're working with Willis Towers Watson to think of other possibilities of parametric insurance, for example, to de-risk business solutions. So I think it has a lot of uses, and it's good that we're starting to trial it and see how it operates.
Hi. Oh. You hear me? Hi. I am Fabian from Blue. We're working on fisheries, coming from the fisheries side. Maybe you can talk later, but I have two questions. So one is, if this is a business model or a revenue model with insurance, I don't quite understand. You're selling the insurance, and who is buying the insurance? And the other question I have is, so also in Mexico on some reef, there's still quite some illegal fishing going on. Do you see that also as a threat? And which is interesting to Marfan to have a model or a project that has a component of enforcement to protect the reef, at least for illegal fishing.
Regarding the insurance, it's a mechanism that can provide immediate funding to restore. Right. So what it does is de-risk and provide that funding to close that gap so you can maintain the environmental services. In this case, the insurance was aggregated and Marfan purchased it. We purchased it, and then there's a whole governance system in each country set up with committees and then brigades on the ground that already know what boat captains can do it. Everything is set up prior. It's set up. So if there is an event, it can be then triggered and go out. And Marfund, we can very quickly put the money into the organization, an NGO, right? Because it just have the flexibility to get those funds, purchase the food, the fuel, hire the boat captain, get the air tanks, everything you need already on the ground. This requires some equipment for each brigade that has already been purchased is on site. So ideally, and this is our pilot. So as we progress, ideally governments can participate in purchasing the insurance. Private sector can also participate, protected areas, because for some protected areas, like one that is currently a pilot, Ternef, right? This is their income. People come to see those reefs and they recognize it is very important. So, we're discussing that possibility of maybe them participating in the insurance. And if you aggregate the insurance, the cost goes down. And if you have many participating, it is actually comes down to a low amount annually that you would have to pay. But you ensure that fast response, which makes a very big difference. Yes. Through a trust, and they do participate in the insurance because it also covers beaches, right? The restoration of beaches, and And you had asked about overfishing. Yes. Marfan supports priority protected areas in the region, and that incorporates some of the day-to-day activities such as control and surveillance. So in the protected areas we support, that is something that we can support, that control and surveillance, so the areas can undertake it. I think we're over time. Oh, yes. Can I?
Are you over time? Oh, hello, Maria Jose. I was wondering about all those mechanisms. Takes time and resources to be implemented. I arrived a little bit late, but I was wondering how to accelerate those development. What are your needs in terms of people, expertise, money, resources? How to accelerate those process? How to make it at scale?
It did take time, right? So, and we have many donors beginning in the process and discussion studies, because there were no baseline studies. So in order for us to actually make that, for Willis Towers Watson, to make that correlation between cover damage loss based on wind speed, we previously did a study, with as many studies we could find to see what that correlation is, for example. But that is now done, and it now can be scaled up. So I don't know if you had come, but I was mentioning we are currently trying to replicate this in the Caribbean for next hurricane season, because it can already be done, right? Once this is already set up. So once you know what sites you want to protect, the model can be run again, and you can define it for that particular coral area. So now it's done. It can be replicated fairly quickly. Yeah. Thank you. Unless you have, we can continue talking about it. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Let me close here.
It's actually at 10.
Okay, that's something. Okay. Yes, we can talk about it, of course. Sure.